Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into one of Jesus's most famous parables, the Good Samaritan.
That's right.
It all starts with this legal expert, a lawyer, who comes to test Jesus. He asks that big question, what must I do to inherit eternal life?
Right, the ultimate question.
Exactly. And when Jesus kind of flips it back on him,
Hmm?
asking about the law, the lawyer gives the right answer, but then tries to narrow things down, maybe justify himself.
Yeah.
Yes. And who is my neighbor?
Yeah, trying to draw a line, maybe limit who he actually has to care about. And our mission today really is to see how Jesus uses this story, this frankly quite shocking story, to just completely blow up that whole mindset.
He definitely does.
He radically expands what neighbor means.
So let's paint the picture Jesus gives. A man is traveling, going down from Jerusalem to Jericho.
Not just any road, though.
No, not at all. It was infamous. People called it the bloody way.
Yeah.
Super dangerous, isolated, lots of places for bandits to hide.
Yeah, rough journey.
And sure enough, this poor guy gets attacked by robbers. They strip him, beat him up badly, and just leave him there on the side of the road, half dead.
It's a brutal start. Then the story introduces two people who you'd maybe expect to help. First, a priest comes by, then a Levite.
Both religious figures, right? People associated with the temple.
Exactly. Probably heading back from their duties, but incredibly, what do?
They see him and cross over to the other side of the road. They pass by.
Right. Now, there might be explanations people offer, ritual purity laws maybe.
Hmm.
Touching a dead or potentially dead body could make them unclean for temple service, or just, self-preservation on a dangerous road.
Sure, you could argue that.
But the story frames it as a profound failure, doesn't it? A kind of spiritual coldness where rules, or perhaps fear, trump basic human compassion for someone clearly in desperate need.
It sets up this expectation of failure almost.
Hmm.
And then comes the twist. This is where it gets really, really interesting.
Yeah.
The third person to come along is a Samaritan.
And for Jesus's audience, this would have been, well, shocking, maybe even offensive to some.
Absolutely. We have to remember the history there.
Yeah.
Jews and Samaritans had this deep, centuries-old hostility, major religious disagreements, ethnic tensions. Samaritans were viewed as outsiders, religiously impure. Samaritan was even used as an insult.
A deeply provocative choice for the hero. And look what he does. Unlike the others, he sees the man and is moved with pity. That's the key difference.
Compassion kicks in.
Yes. And it's not just a feeling. He acts. He goes right over to him. He uses his own supplies, oil and wine, common ancient treatments, to clean and bandage the wounds.
He doesn't hold back.
Not at all. Then he lifts the man onto his own animal, walks alongside, and takes him to an inn. Stays with him, takes care of him overnight.
It's already amazing, but it doesn't stop there.
No, the next day, he pays the innkeeper 2 denarii. That's like 2 full days' wages for a laborer, a significant amount. And he tells the innkeeper, look after him, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. It's this complete, sustained, sacrificial care.
So pulling this together, what's Jesus doing here?
Yeah.
He's completely reframing the idea of neighbor. It's not about who lives near you or who shares your background or religion.
Exactly. It's not a label based on identity.
It's an action. It's about choosing to be the person who shows mercy to someone in need, whoever they are. It demolishes that us versus them boundary the lawyer was trying to maintain.
And it connects so powerfully to other things Jesus taught, doesn't it? Think about the parable of the sower. The priest and Levite, maybe their hearts are like that hard path or rocky ground. The truth doesn't take root.
Good point.
But the Samaritan, he shows that noble and good heart, the fertile soil, ready not just to hear, but to act compassionately. Our actions really reveal what's going on inside, spiritually speaking.
Which brings us to today. Why does this ancient summary still hit so hard? Why should you care?
Well, because those same tendencies exist now, don't they? Prejudice, indifference, drawing lines between us and them, whether it's based on race, nationality, beliefs, social status.
Yeah, absolutely. The story forces us to look at our own blind spots, our own potential for indifference. It challenges any religious practice that becomes just, going through the motions without real love behind it. It insists on the dignity of every single person.
And the rest of the New Testament echoes this loudly. James says it bluntly. Faith without works is dead. John urges love in deed and truth, not just talk. The Samaritan is the embodiment of that active, living faith.
So after telling the story, Jesus asks the lawyer, which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The lawyer has to admit, the one who had mercy on him.
He can't even bring himself to say the Samaritan, interestingly.
Right. And Jesus' final command is so direct. Go and do likewise. It's not go and define your neighbor. It's go and be one.
It shifts everything from theory to practice. So the question left hanging for all of us, for you listening, is how do you cultivate that kind of heart, that noble and good heart, capable of seeing need and responding with that same radical, boundary-breaking compassion?
Feels like a huge challenge.
It is, but maybe it's less about just trying harder on our own and more about, well, an invitation to connect with something beyond ourselves, a divine source that makes that kind of seemingly impossible love and action actually possible, something to really think about.